The magnificent Colorado River is one of the natural wonders of the world. Originating high in the Colorado Rockies and running 1,400 miles to the Gulf of California in Mexico. Hi, I'm Robert Fuller. Please join me and my guest celebrities in the coming weeks. If you do, you'll share with us the excitement and adventure of exploring the spectacular land created by the mighty Colorado River. My guest this week is Doug McClure. Doug is a talented actor with many Western movie and television credits to his name. It's a special pleasure to have him with us on a return visit for our Yuma Adventure on the Colorado. I'm standing in God's country, about 8,000 feet up in the Colorado Rockies, 85 miles west of Denver in Granby, Colorado. Now, some historians will tell you that the Colorado River starts as a trickle of water higher up in the Rocky Mountain National Park, and that's true. But that trickle flows into Lake Granby, and then flows out of this headwater to become the Grand, as she used to be called. Today it's called the mighty Colorado River. And it wasn't until 2,000 years ago that humans began venturing into these valleys and mountains. The Utes and then the Arapaho controlled this vast area until the United States government acquired 358 square miles in the huge Louisiana Purchase of 1803. In 1843, Scenes in the Rocky Mountains was written by Rufus Sage. He spent 4 years exploring the area. We hope to bring you some of the excitement he must have experienced in our adventure down the 1,400-mile run the Colorado makes to the Gulf of California. The Ute Indians call the land running along the Colorado from Granby to Glenwood Springs their Magic Valley, and for good reason. Each season here has its own magic for fishermen, hikers, hunters, and skiers. There is magic here for everyone. This week finds us in Yuma, Arizona, the last city on the Colorado River in the United States, in the southwestern corner of Arizona. Don't go away, we'll be right back. The peculiarities of time and geography have caused certain locations to determine the events of history. Such was the case with the narrows below the joining of the Colorado and Gila rivers that was known as the Yuma Crossing. Because the use of these narrows was the only feasible way to cross the Colorado River, Yuma became the gateway for exploration and settlement of the Southwest. Indians swam across the Colorado to California before these bridges were built by early pioneers. Yuma's colorful history began when an intrepid Spanish explorer braved his way up the river in 1540. Pilot Robert Fowler was certainly following in a long line of adventurers when he landed in Yuma on October the 25th, 1911. His was the first plane to land here. He was on a transcontinental flight from California. The Yuma Territorial Prison in its time was referred to as either a hellhole or a country club on the Colorado. Join me for a unique tour of this institution.
Now, it wasn't until the prison had been here for a number of years that they really felt that Yuma was an ideal place for a prison, basically for the location. First off, if you look at a map of Arizona, you'll see that Yuma is a town further away from most other towns. Also, it was on the banks of the Colorado and Gila rivers. So any material they could not get on hand, such as iron and lumber, they could transport by steamboats which traveled up and down the Colorado River.
The incredibly intense heat of the desert could be unbearable.
When it was full of prisoners, I imagine it, during the summer months it might have been quite a, as it has been called, a hellhole. Number one, you have 6 men to a cell. They take showers only once a week. During the early years of operation, you had a bucket for sanitation, so you can imagine the stench of the area. Also, you'd wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you'd be out working, you'd be back at 5 p.m. and you'd work 6 days a week. 1 day off would be on Sunday. So any desire to escape would have been basically taken away from you just by being tired. But even so, we did have 138 escape attempts.
Of the 138 prisoners who attempted to escape, only 26 made it.
Bob, is that you? Bob, over here.
What? Doug,
Yeah.
what on earth are you doing in there?
Beat the heck out of me. When I left you in Glenwood Springs, I've been coming down the river. Why did you leave me like that? Every time I get to a place, they said you just left. So I said, well, I'm going to beat him. I know he's going to be at this here prison. So I got here before you did, didn't I?
Well, you did, but what happened?
Well, that's just it. You see, I came in here early last night, and then I heard this clang, and well, look, there's a little guy walking around. He's got a key. He's got a uniform on. Would you go find him for me, please?
Sure.
I don't remember his name. Little guy. You won't miss him, Bob.
Yeah. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
Yeah, don't go away. I'll be right. Bob. Bob! Now look, you will come back, won't you, Bob? Bob!
You didn't want to be sent to the dark cell. Their idea of solitary confinement wasn't what it is today.
Normally, length of stay in the dark cell was anywhere from 1 to 12 days, yet we did have one individual spend a total of 105 days in the dark cell.
On June the 16th, 1905, there was a hanging. Invitations were extended. In those days, public executions were considered a major event.
There was 111 deaths here at the Territorial Prison, and 104 of those individuals are buried in the prison cemetery. The main cause of death was consumption, which is today known as tuberculosis. Being confined in these cells, of course, it spread quite quickly. We had 8 convicts who were shot while trying to escape, 2 killed by falling rocks, 1 caught in a cave-in, a couple bitten by rattlesnakes, and a couple drowned in the Colorado River.
All right, you big crybaby. Diane was right about it.
In 1951, Yuma Mayor Walter Ingalls announced that the historical prison would be restored. Clarissa Windsor moved into a wing of the old mess hall to begin the long process. The prison was declared a state park in 1960. It was only through the sustained efforts of many Yuma volunteers that the restoration effort started in 1941 came to a successful conclusion, when this unique marker in our country's past was designated the Yuma Territorial Prison State Historical Park, a fitting tribute to the men and women of this prison who are forever a part of Yuma and the Colorado River. It's magical to find this kind of water wonderland in the middle of the desert. 35 miles north of Yuma is the beautiful Lake Martinez.
What'd you think of that?
Oh, that was fun. I only done that once before.
You did great out there.
Yeah, well, I believe I'm getting better at it.
Well, these things are really easy to learn on. And they're
Well,
fun
I prefer
too,
my
yeah.
buckskin horse, but
I'll tell you what, I can't think of a more fun way to check out the Imperial Dam, though, huh? That was neat.
yeah, I really enjoyed it.
You know, this dam is the last dam that holds the Colorado water before it goes into Mexico. All of this dam is what irrigates all of Yuma and all the farmland all around. In fact, in a little while, we're going to take a walk and see some of the richest farmland you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, that'd be great. I'm looking forward to that, too.
We might even pick some lettuce.
Oh, good. I've always wanted to be a lettuce picker.
No, you haven't.
No, I haven't, have I? I don't even want to play a lettuce picker.
Few people realize what a unique farming area Yuma has become because of the water system made possible by the magnificent Colorado River.
From an agricultural viewpoint, the Yuma area is basically the most productive land in the world. Not only with regard to the amount of agricultural product that you can raise on the land, but also the diversity of the types of agricultural products that you can raise on the land. And of course, it is a year-round growing season. And when you get into a desert environment, especially if you're transplanted from an area that has a lot of green and a lot of water, you find your comfort zone where you have security, and the security is in being close to an available water supply. So if it's wet and green, I find that the comfort zone of most people, especially if they're displaced from areas with more abundant water supplies, tend to flock and gather along the river. If it's wet and green, most people are pretty comfortable in the West.
Well, you go back in the World War II days, flax was a big crop because of the linseed oil, and it was used in the manufacturing and in the war, the war times. And we went from a big flax days into cotton days in the 50s and 60s, and we used to produce 150, 200,000 bales of cotton in this area as late as the 70s. People have changed to produce, and we have the large produce people coming out of the Salinas area that are in this area in the wintertime, and it's really become a very specialized industry. What we have today is the lettuce capital of the world in the wintertime. Probably 95% of the produce in the wintertime is from the Yuma area.
Few people realize what a unique farming area Yuma has become because of the water system made possible by the magnificent Colorado River.
If there wasn't any irrigation here, we wouldn't be here. We would be a desert valley, a river bottom valley that would not be farmed. And the water is the lifeline of the whole thing. Our rainfall is like 3 inches a year, but our canals run full daily, and we like to see the snow in the mountains and the rain in the mountains and let it come down this river.
We don't forget easily that we live in a desert environment, and that if that water were to go away, we would do without the necessary sustenance that maintains not only our way of life, but also our very existence.
I think every farmer probably has a little gambling blood in him to start with, or he wouldn't be there. Because we have no guarantees. A lot of people think, oh, the farmers are getting rich and they have a guaranteed living, but we plant a seed in the ground, and whatever the market says they'll give us, that's what we get. Probably 99% of the farmers here are 100% farmers. That's their sole source of income. They don't have a job anyplace else except on that farm. Oh, I think farming has a bright future. We're really a unique little area in the southwest corner of the United States, you might say. I haven't seen any place like it. You go to Phoenix, they're a totally different farming operation. You go to the San Joaquin Valley, and it's a totally different operation. But the Yuma area with the Colorado River, it's a unique little area.
Stay with us for memorable highlights from our 1,400-mile adventure down the Colorado. The many aspects and moods of this masterpiece of nature, the Colorado, bring back wonderful memories of our shared adventures. Doug McClure was our first guest in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. We experienced the ghost of the Colorado Hotel. Our first encounter with the Colorado River was quite an adventure. Alex Hyde White and the dinosaurs of Grand Junction. From biking through the Colorado Monument to ballooning the river, we had a terrific time. The Arches of Moab, Utah, with our guest Andy Prine. Woman of the River, Sherry Griffith. The Colorado can be thrilling. Experiencing the Old West with the Cowboy's Cowboy, Morgan Woodward. The legends of the West came to life once again along the Colorado. Just plain fun with Frank Bonner and his son Justin. Exploring the Canyonlands area around Moab was fascinating. Awesome Glen Canyon Dam, the magic of the slot caves outside of Page, Arizona, with Anna Alicia. Fishing the Colorado with Jennifer Savage was simply a great time. Patrick Wayne visiting with the Navajo in the Tuba City area of Navajo land in northwestern Arizona. Dan Haggerty was the perfect guest for our Grand Canyon adventure. From the open spaces of the Grand Canyon to the glamour of Las Vegas, excitement along the Colorado River with Richard Anderson. Outside of Vegas is Hoover Dam, where we had fun on Lake Mead with Dennis Cole. International saltwater angler Marcia Bierman. She had her first taste of freshwater fishing on Lake Mojave in Laughlin, Arizona. The unique London Bridge of Lake Havasu City, Arizona, with actor and artist Buck Taylor. What wonderful memories.
Well, there it is, the All-American Canal. This is the last stop for the water from the Colorado River before it goes into California and into Mexico.
Oh, Mexico gets some of this water.
Oh, sure. We have a treaty with Mexico, and they get a certain amount of water from the Colorado River every year.
Well, that's good. You know, I know it's it's going this way, but somehow it looks like it's going that way. But it's going that way.
Yeah, that's the swirling of it.
Yeah, well, I get my directions messed up a little bit. But now when we were at the Imperial Dam, now what happens from there?
All right, all the water from the Imperial Dam is siphoned off through canals that come all the way through Yuma, Arizona, and southern Arizona. I think they irrigate about 150,000 acres of southern Arizona, the Colorado River does, and from the Imperial Dam, at least 50,000 acres around greater Yuma are irrigated by it.
When I was there, I found out they grow lettuce, broccoli, and cauliflower.
Yes, they do, and some wheat and some cotton. And 2/3 of the water that comes out of the Imperial Dam goes to irrigation, and only 1/3 goes to the city. So that's pretty interesting.
Well, it is, and it's also been great for me because I started with you at the beginning of this thing. We got in that canoe and it tipped over. So I had to get here, and it's a tie as far as I'm concerned. We started at the beginning.
That was a race, wasn't it?
It was a race. Yes,
well, I
sir.
know. I think you beat me because I had to get you out of jail, if I remember right.
You got me out of jail. See, boy, I was sweating in jail. I wouldn't want to have been back there in jail. I didn't want to be in jail anytime, but back there.
Sweating is right.
Oh, it was hot. That's why I got this on. But it's been a joy to be with you.
Well,
so now I understand. It comes from here, and they channel it from here to all these different places. And we got the treaty in Mexico.
Right.
Boy, I've learned a lot on this show.
Absolutely.
Boy, I've learned a lot.
And I sure am happy you did it with me.
Me too, partner.